that more books is like, all right, I'm thankful for our top line catching fire.
Saturday night's game over Delaware, and I don't want to say it's always expected like that.
On the stream.
On the Vestal Parkway, it's time once again for the Tully's Good Times with Coach show. I'm joined by Black Bears head coach Gary Gill. I'm Brooke Silva. We want to thank you for tuning in on YouTube, back at home, and for all the fans here inside the restaurant tonight. Welcome. We're glad that you could be a part of this great weekend here with us. And the Black Bears are coming off of a 4-game winning streak. They will look to continue that this weekend with a home game on Friday night. It's Summer in December. That's December 16th at 7 p.m. blackbears.com/tickets to get yours now. And go ahead, and before we do that, we have a game on Saturday against Delaware, going back to the fairgrounds and the Thunderdome, as they call it. But first of all, Coach, 4-game win streak right now for the Black Bears. Things are starting to click offensively. What is the message for the team day in and day out now?
Well, we got to be better every day. We have to start playing at a very consistent high level day in and day out, and that includes our practices. Our practices should actually be harder than any game we play in right now.
Well, the Black Bears had a tough practice, to say a little bit today. None the least, I was talking to some of the guys coming off the ice, hanging around the locker room a little bit, and noticed a considerable amount of sweat coming from Tyson Kirkby's forehead, so it looks like you got through him pretty good. And don't know what happened the entire practice. I only saw about the last 20 minutes. You guys were working on your entrances into the zone and your tight passes, just from what I could pick up. But let's talk about, we're almost 2.5 months into the season now. What goes into a daily practice at the professional level right now? Because you're not just, getting chemistry down, as a lot of guys have been playing together on the same line for most of the season. Are you guys just doing things that you think, oh, hey, Watertown does this is how we're going to counter? Or is it, hey, we watched the tape from this weekend and we have to get better at X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of all of that, right? Like, we got to be better, for checking. We got to look to create more offense. We're just taking each step of the game. Like, we'll do video. I'll review video, and then we'll pick some things that I think we need to be better at. And then we also add things in, because we don't want to stay stagnant and do the same thing over and over again, where when other coaches are watching our video, they can pick up, oh, they're doing this, so they can counter that. We have to have a plan B to that and plan C to that. Once they change, we change. So we constantly have tools in the toolbox.
It sounds very familiar to me from my sports background. Obviously never made to the professional level as a player, but a lot of what goes into coaching is adjusting to the adjustments. And what is going, now that we've seen Delaware and Watertown a few times, how are we going to adjust to the adjustments that they make to us, is the way that I kind of see it coming off so far. We're getting ready to play Delaware on Friday night back at home. We're going to probably see our old friend Owen Liskowitz once again, and we also had some new faces coming into town before the last time that we had a Tully's Good Times with Coach show. 3 new players joining the Black Bears squad. Chris Paulin, a new goaltender who is enriched in FPHL history. He's second all-time in goalie wins at 44, just 3 more to break the all-time wins record. And also Justin Coachman, who's been a lifetime Watertown Wolf, playing his first game at the professional level against Watertown. And also Taylor Cutting, who came in with experience in the FPHL and in the, SPHL and FPHL as well, drawing in onto the blue line. And in fact, we saw him play a little bit of winger this past weekend as well. But just kind of quickly, what did you like about the 3 new guys, if you can remember all the way back to the Watertown weekend? I know it seems like an eternity ago, because it does for me.
Well, they're not new guys. That's what I like best about them. They're not new guys. They're guys that are proven guys here that work really hard and have a storied career here in the FPHL and in the SPHL. Guys that are willing to battle. They've been proven, battle-tested. Coachman's a tough blue liner. Obviously Taylor Cutting, tough blue liner, and then Chris.
And muck it up a little bit. Taylor Cutting becoming almost a fan favorite instantly, at least maybe up in the press box with a certain color commentator already giving out a nickname. But we'll save that a little bit later, and maybe when we talk to Taylor a little bit later on in the season. And we got to talk to Taylor before we had the away game in Delaware. We talked to him on the Triple Cities pregame show before our radio broadcast, and just anytime that you return to a building and against a former team, you still have friends that are on the other side. They're wearing a different sweater and a different crest on their jersey. And the Black Bears felt that last week when Owen Liskowitz started on Saturday night against the Black Bears, and you could tell some of the guys were emotional after the game. Obviously, during the game, you're there to win, and Owen would say the same thing. He was there to compete, did a really good job. Unfortunate that a couple got away from him late in the third period, but he was playing one of his best games of the entire season. And I think it just speaks to how well some of these guys get connected to each other throughout their professional careers. That I felt like almost every single person for Binghamton went over after the game, shook Owen's hand, gave him a big hug, and I saw some of the members of the bench staff doing that as well. And it just goes to show how much everybody cares for each other, and truly are brothers in arms here in this hockey family.
Yeah. I mean, when you trade somebody, it's not always just clear as day as the word trade, right? Like we talked about it before. There's more that goes into it. Sometimes it's a change of scenery that the player needs. Sometimes the player wants to move on to a different location so that he can get a new fresh start. Sometimes it's other things. There's multiple different reasons that a trade happens. It's not always cut and dry. It's not always just a trade. We don't do it just to do it. We do it for purpose. And but the love between the players, like between these players and Owen and these players and like Eric Oganezov, who plays for Delaware. I mean, I love those guys. They're both stand-up gentlemen. I love them both. I wish them best in their career. And who knows? You never say never. Never say that they won't end up back here, because they could someday. But the love. I mean, you can tell. Like, you can just see it.
Oh, absolutely. You could tell Owen and Eric getting a little bit of applause from the crowd after the game was decided, and their last ones off the ice for their new respective clubs, and the crowd standing up and giving them a little bit of a salute on the way back into the visiting locker room through the tunnel. And so the Black Bears, however, do come away with 6 points against Watertown. Riley McVeigh records the first shutout in a regular season game in Black Bears history. Very big for Riley, as he made 25 saves on the Saturday night contest against Watertown, and perhaps maybe the best night special teams wise for the Black Bears, killing off all the penalties that they took on the penalty kill, and then also converting on 3 power play goals for 4 of the goals in the game. And we talk about it almost every single week during the Tully's Coaches Corner pregame, during the show on the radio, and it's just, special teams really can dictate how a team goes. Would you say that your team is starting to click in the direction that you definitely want it to now, or is there still a lot more room for improvement?
I think there's always room for improvement, but we're doing well. Like, we're starting to capitalize a little bit more on, executing our plays and executing our PK forecheck and executing our power play. We're getting shots to the net, and we're taking care of business when we need to take care of it. But to me and to the players, there's always room for growth. There's always room to be better. There's always room to put more on another team.
Well, we'll see how much room the Black Bears can go on the special team side of things. Right now, the Black Bears currently second in the FPHL, operating at 26%. They have the most power play goals in the league. Granted, they also have had the most opportunities to be on the power play so far, still just about 2.5 months into the season. Now, let's go ahead and fast forward from Watertown to Delaware, still on the rewind side of things before we get to this weekend's contest against the same 2 clubs, I might add. And the Black Bears play a road game on Friday night. No,
we play at home. We play at home. Oh, next week.
Last week.
Last week.
Okay. Yeah, you're good. Last week. So last week we went to Delaware Friday night. 1-goal game going into the third period. 3-2 in favor of Binghamton. What is the discussion going on in between the locker room, as Delaware had just gotten a late goal back in the period to make it a 1-goal game, and quite frankly, they almost had an opportunity in a final 30 seconds of the period to tie this one up?
Well, I don't know if I can say that on camera.
Okay.
But I will tell you that we knew we weren't playing well at that time. We knew we needed to execute at a higher level. It's not okay just I said this to the players earlier today, it's not okay just for a win, but we got to expect us to play at a certain level, and that's what we're really striving for this week, is to straight play at a certain level. Come in and dominate for 60 minutes and play our game. We haven't done that lately, and we really need to get back to doing that. Like you said, special teams are doing good, but the 5-on-5 is not exactly where we want it to be for a 60-minute period, 60-minute game, right? So, yeah, I mean, when you're down or you're up 3-2, you know, the next goal can make or break you, you know, and their goaltender plays pretty well. So it's not a guarantee that we're going to score like we did. I mean, we ended up coming back and scoring quite a few, but it's, you know, you run into that hot chest of a goaltender, or the bounces just aren't going your way, and you find yourself in a position you don't want to be in. So we really had to pick it up, and I thought we responded well at that point.
Well, you guys did respond. You guys put up 3 more goals in the third period, none of them empty net goals, I might add, to go on to win. No, I got to get that score right. You had 3, and you go on and you get 4 to make it 7-2. Didn't have my notes written down for the box score there tonight. I'm trying to remember the game not through a box score and just stat sheets, but to remember what I saw as I was calling the game live. So now you load back up on the bus, come all the way back to Binghamton, and you play the same exact team 21 hours later at 7 o'clock the next night. What time does a hockey player essentially need to be ready to go for coming off a back end of a back-to-back game?
Well, coming back from that game, you know, we didn't get back till 3 in the morning. By the time they got back to their housing and slept or got laid down anyway, you know, I don't know about most people, but I don't go right to sleep. So by the time they wound down, it's probably 4 in the morning, and I'm sure they slept most of the day, and they have to be at the arena at 4:45. You know, get there for a report time of 5, and once they step in that arena, it's time to go. So the preparation begins at that point for them. So approximately 2 hours before the game.
Okay, so about 2 hours before is when, obviously, the player is required to be back there inside the arena, and we talked about it before we started the broadcast, and where the Black Bears are going to run into almost a reverse situation this week. They're going to play a home game Friday night and then travel on Saturday. Is there a preference that you think either you as a coach or B as a player that one would have of, would you rather have the home game first or would you rather have the home game second?
I think it depends on where you're going, but like this one, I'd rather be home first, because then we could play, sleep in our own beds, get up in the morning, and then travel, and then, you know, do our game down in Delaware. And there's no rush to get back because we don't have to play another game the next day. It's an off day, so certainly playing first on Friday at home and then traveling is a better situation for us.
Well, the Black Bears will do that a couple times this year, and primarily with Delaware, it seems that we're having a whole lot of home one night, and then we're either headed to Delaware the next night or we're headed somewhere else as another opponent. And this month, the Black Bears are only taking on the Watertown Wolves and the Delaware Thunder, so a whole lot of points up for grabs in the Empire Division. Right now, the Black Bears stand in second place by 1 point. They're only behind the Danbury Hat Tricks as they trail 41-40. Binghamton with 12 regulation wins on the year. Danbury with 10 regulation wins. 5 of the Hat Tricks wins have been in overtime this season. And now Binghamton boasts a record of 13-4-2 and a goal differential of plus 29. And through the last 10, 7-2-1. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, a 4-game win streak. And I know that we talked about it last time we were here at Tully's. Don't pay too much attention to the standings right now because it's, you know, playoff format, still get set. Don't know how many teams are going to qualify. But with contending at the top right now, you know, nearing the 20-game mark, how do you think that your team has lived up to the expectations set out in front of them?
Well, I mean, again, there's always room for growth, but I think we're doing pretty good right now. I mean, 13-4. 13-4-2 is a pretty good record for this. There's a couple of those games we'd like to have back that we thought we should have had. Without a doubt, I thought we should have had the second game in Port Huron, and we dropped it. I think we're in a good position. We're driving the car like we stole it right now, and hopefully the next time we see Danbury, we're a little bit more prepared for them. I thought the last time we played Danbury that we held it together pretty good. The first period was really good, back and forth action by both teams, and I don't agree with a lot of things that happened in the second period, and that was the downfall period against Danbury. You can't give them a period like that. You can't give any team in this league a whole period to come back on you. You just can't do it.
Well, the Black Bears will have their chance to get revenge on Danbury a little bit later on in 2023. We will travel to Danbury, Connecticut, and we will play a one road game against Danbury. We'll be coming off of a road game the before night against the Elmira Mammoth, so a rare weekend where the Black Bears are out of town for both days, but they'll be playing in two different states. But Empire Division, ton of points up for grabs right now, and especially in the month of December, and the Black Bears so far are trending in the right direction. Knock on wood 3 times. They're 4 for 4 in the month of December. They look to improve on that this weekend as they will take on the Watertown Wolves on Friday and the Delaware Thunder on the road on Saturday. Before we head to a quick timeout, don't forget you can get your tickets now for Friday's contest, Summer in December. Today was a very cold day. I stepped outside and I could see my breath instantly, and there was still ice on my car from the snowstorm that we had yesterday up here in Binghamton. So I have to wash the car sometime a little bit later on this week. But we're going to turn up the heat inside the arena. Come dressed in your best beach attire and go ahead and get your tickets now by calling the office at 607-722-7367 or visit binghamtonblackbears.com/tickets. And Coach, we will talk to you a little bit later on in the show. We have some very special guests coming up. Chris Pollan and Gavin Yates are on the other side of this timeout after these messages.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating Summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dress in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
Welcome back to the Tully's Good Times with Coach Show. I'm Brooks Hill, and now joined by Black Bears goaltender Chris Paulin. And Chris, thanks for spending some time out of your Tuesday evening and spending it with us here at Tully's.
No problem. Happy to be here, Brooksy.
Okay, so let's go get and dive into the topic. For the second week in a row, we have a player who is a guest on the show who has recently gotten a haircut. Last week being Colin Fitzgerald. So go ahead and, yeah, there you go. Turn to the side, show everybody. Everything like that. Now, what inspired you to get this haircut, Paulie?
Well, it was getting pretty long, for one. And then I actually have a wedding soon to go to.
Okay.
Where I'm the best man. And it was the request of the groom to have this haircut. So.
Really?
Yeah, so just trying to kind of fulfill my obligation there.
Okay, see, I was in a wedding, and the request of the groom was for me to cut my hair. So normally it's in the opposite direction because it's, people like us who have the long hair and, a good head of lettuce and some flow, they don't want to see it at the wedding because, they don't want to take attention away from the bride.
Yeah, well, these guys really wanted it, so I left it a little bit long in the back, like they said, so I think we're ready to go.
Well, that's where the party is, right?
Yeah, that's where the party is. You got it, buddy.
Okay. All right. So, Paulie, you come in a free agent acquisition. You spent some time in previous seasons with the Port Huron Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds, most recently the Thunderbirds, where you were second all-FPHL team last season at the end of the year, 20 wins as a goaltender. But what some people might not know about you is you were coming off of knee surgery, correct? And you were dealing with an injury from the end of last season?
Yeah, so right before the playoffs last year, I had to get a surgery on my knee, and then kind of had a little issue with it. So actually at the beginning of this year, I had to go in and do it again, and feels a lot better now and ready to go now. So
2 knee surgeries What's going through your mind now? Was this an injury that happened like on the ice? You're like, hey, like something's not right, like right now, but like I'm gonna still go on, or was like, no, like you got to get me out of here? Is it one of the situation where you're attended to and it's like, oh, hey, like I knew the next day that, oh, this is gone, or something like that?
Yeah, I knew I heard it last year in December. It was I think it was like early December. Played on it and was able to kind of battle through, and then eventually got to the point where I think I pushed it a little further. And then I knew I couldn't walk at that point, so yeah, I knew I couldn't play anymore, so I had to get it taken care of, unfortunately.
Well, you signed with Binghamton a couple of weeks ago, and you've played in 2 games, 2-0-0 on the year, 1 home and 1 away. What's been the best thing about being a part of Binghamton so far?
Yeah, it's been great. There's a lot of good things. The boys have been awesome. So getting to know some of my roommates and just guys in the locker room, people in the community, it's been a lot of fun. So I think we have a really good group here. So I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Well, I know they're glad to have you in the locker room as well. You joined Riley McVeigh and Joe Shepard as the goaltending trio here in the Black Bears locker room, and you've had, like I said, 1 home game, 1 road game. You were the starting goaltender last week in Delaware on the Friday night contest. A little bit different, Delaware and Binghamton, in terms of the ice and just the sheer length of the rink.
Yeah.
And obviously, I talked to you after the game about the net coming dislodged quite a few times in Delaware. How much does, I would say, home ice advantage play into like a goaltender's repertoire or preparation for a game, or it's just a matter of, as a hockey player, going from one rink to another and the different qualities of ice, whether it's the beginning of a period or the end of the period, or you can't dig in as much, or the net comes off just a little bit more easy?
Yeah, it's not too big of a difference usually. With a couple of the rinks in our league, like with Delaware being one of them, they don't drill the nets. So you just use basically practice pegs. So once they come off once, they're going to keep coming off. So the way I play, the way most goalies play, you kind of like to slide hard into the post. So that kind of sucks when they keep coming off and everyone gets kind of rattled. But obviously that doesn't happen in our rink because, we have better pegs. But that's about the only difference. It's a smaller rink, and, Binghamton Delaware tends to play a little better in their own rink usually. But yeah, not too big a difference once the game gets going,
What are your thoughts on just the facilities here in Binghamton? I try to ask all the new guys that when they come into town, give them a day or two, see, like the weight room. I've seen you on the bike a couple of days when I try to sneak into the weight room a little bit when I'm all by myself, so I don't have to be self-conscious about my body. And you're there on the bike and, got the shirt draped over your head or the towel, and, you're in the go zone.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're a guy who's really taking in all of the amenities that the Black Bears and the arena have to offer.
For sure. It's an awesome facility, like you said. So we have everything we could ever ask for here. And honestly, it's a big draw speaking for myself, it's a big draw for me. Going to a program like this with, all those facilities, like you said. And obviously the weight room makes it real convenient just being right there in the rink. So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, one of my biggest problems with my physical journey, let's just go ahead and go with that, is leaving the house or leaving work and having to drive in the opposite direction to go to a gym. But it's like, oh, hey, like I just go down there after work.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave. It definitely pays
Real
benefits.
convenient, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I see the guys come in sometimes early in the morning before practice starts. They're on the bike or they're lifting weights, and sometimes you see the scratches go through. When I was go through the locker room, passing out the flyers and the handouts for the night. They're cranking music back there. Full blast coming through the Bluetooth speaker, all that kind of jazz. So It's really neat, and we want to thank everybody at the Binghamton Hockey Booster Club who's donated some of the equipment that goes in there, and also their arena staff that maintains the arena even when the Black Bears aren't in town, putting events in and out. They have a great list of events coming up here pretty soon. Just check out Vision Veterans Memorial Arena. You can see their whole list of events coming up. The Harlem Globetrotters are coming back into town pretty soon, I believe actually on Valentine's Day, and I know the Globetrotters are always a big hit around here. WWE comes back for a Sunday SmackDown in January as well. So hopefully some of the Black Bears will be able to attend, as it'll be an off day, and you never know who might show up at a WWE event. You might see this guy just jump into the ring sometime and absolutely, body slam somebody
Just let
down
me
onto the
know
mat. Yeah, I would not want to. If Taylor came to a WWE event, I would start walking in the opposite direction. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go either.
I wouldn't either. Like, those guys are professional wrestlers, but part of me also thinks that Taylor is as well. So, Paulie, before we let you go, just your, you joined the team. I don't want to say in the mid-season yet because we're nearing there, but we're not quite there. But you joined the team late. What are your thoughts on the team so far as we almost approach 20 games on the year?
Yeah, I think we're improving every week. Even since I've been here, it seems like we're heading in the right direction. Guys are gelling pretty well together. Obviously, we've gotten a chance to string a few wins together, which is nice. But yeah, I think we're in the right direction. Guys are playing hard. It's one thing about this team that I really like joining on is the competitive spirit of the guys. I think the compete level is really good in the dressing room, and I think as long as you have that, you can go pretty far. So pretty excited to see where the season could go here.
And I'll ask one more follow-up question because I liked what you said. How much does playing hard in the competitiveness actually propel a team? Because sometimes you have guys who are extremely talented. My old coach used to say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And what I get the vibe from you, Coach Gill, and the other guys I talk to, or they're on the record, off the record, is you guys right now have talent, but also you're working harder than the talent you're going up against.
Absolutely, yeah. That's huge. That's life and death, and especially in this league. And just from a goalie's perspective, the way the defense compete in front of the net, we have some really amazing two-way forwards that come back and save me goals every time I play. So, these guys have been awesome to play with. So I'm really excited. I feel if we can keep building on that, we can go pretty far here. So.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you. We appreciate your time here on Tuesday night. Don't go anywhere, folks. We got Black Bears forward Gavin Yates, the first returner on the Coaches Show, coming up after these messages. Thank you for tuning in to the Tully's Good Times with Coach Show.
Good?
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach Show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Welcome back into the Tully's Good Times with Coach Show. I'm Marcel, and now joined by the first returning guest of the Coach Show besides Coach Gill himself. Obviously, I'm joined by Black Bears forward Gavin Yates. And Gavin, thank you for taking some time out of Tuesday and rejoining us here on the Coaches Show. All right, and Gavin, you had a mid-season re-debut, or return, that's the word, exactly, return, there we go. Basic knowledge right there. And you had been out for almost a month and a half now. You suffered an injury back in Danbury in the first month of the season. And now you rejoined the team. The team is in second place.
You slotted right back into essentially your old spot, playing with Tyson Kirkby and Tyler Jurich. And on night number 1, you rally off 3 assists, some primary and some secondary, but you were a part of the first goal 12 seconds in on Teddy Bear Toss Night. Just how important was it for you just to get back out there on the ice with your friends and teammates?
Yeah, no, it was awesome to get back out there. I mean, I was just looking to take an easy first shift, maybe get my lungs back into me. Kirk beat Berries on the first 10 seconds, so that was always nice. I mean, it took a lot of pressure out of me and stuff. That was awesome. I felt good out there, so it's really nice to get back out there with the boys.
You know, before the show started, Tyson and Tyler came over, and they always give me a hard time because I don't post enough of them on social media, according to them. And I said, oh, it was like, you guys were trying to set Gavin up for the first goal of the game, you know, like his first shift back. And I was like, Kirkby held on to the puck a little bit too long, I thought. And I was like, oh, like he's waiting for Gavin to circle around the net, and he's going to come back, and they're just going to give it to Gavin right on the back door. Nope, Kirkby throws a backhander right on. It gets blocked up into the air, and then Tyler just knocks it out of midair like a rumble pony. Yeah. Our friends down the road in minor league baseball could have probably used that a little bit this year. And but just 12 seconds in, you guys set the tone early. And was it like a nice way to ease your way back into, you know, game competition or so game speed?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, it took a lot of pressure off. I mean, going out there first shift, not skating after a month to get your legs back and stuff. So I mean, for him to score, it was huge. But yeah, I mean, after that, I mean, a lot of teddy bears out there, so that was kind of overwhelming. But no, it was a cool scene. So I was thankful to be out there for that.
Yeah, and in fact, on the total number of teddy bears, 1,267 bears were thrown onto the ice at some point in the night. Some people who were a little bit late to the game threw the bears on the ice after the Black Bears scored their first goal. That's why we said you got to get there on time. You never know what's going to happen. In 12 seconds in, this guy was part of the teddy bear goal for year number 2 of the Binghamton Black Bears. We want to thank our friends at 98.1 The Hawk for presenting the night. Once again, they did an amazing job as our presenting sponsor, Glenn Pitcher, and everybody over at Town Square Media. We want to extend our deepest gratitudes to them for presenting the night. And also, all the teddy bears that were thrown and now donated are headed to the Crime Victims Assistance Center right here in the Southern Tier to help kids who have witnessed crime here in the area and maybe are just going through a little bit of a rough phase in their life, making sure that everybody has a holiday present to open up this Christmas season. So once again, we want to thank the Crime Victims Assistance Center and 98.1 The Hawk for partnering with the Black Bears once again for the second annual Teddy Bear Toss Night. And as it stands right now, the Black Bears have the record for most teddy bears donated on a toss night. 1,267 Black Bears from last Saturday's game. So, Gavin, now moving forward, you have one game underneath your belt coming back from injury. What's going to be the next step for you? Is it just building on your self-game? Is it getting your legs back up to, you know, speed, all that kind of stuff? You were going through physical therapy off of the ice and skating by yourself a little bit before you got back in the lineup. What's the next step for you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really lose my lungs like crazy like that. I mean, I was going to PT and stuff like that, so I was working out. I still was kind of skating a little bit, so it wasn't a huge drop off there. But come back just looking to get a little stronger. Just looking to get a little stronger here, get in the weight room, throw around some weights, and just go hard in practice, really. I mean, get my lungs back and stuff like that. So.
Now, what is the physical therapy for a hockey player like yourself? Now, obviously, you guys have very good lungs because you're running at full speed, or skating at full speed, rather, 40 seconds, 60 seconds at a time. Is it a whole lot of, cardio work that you were going through, or is it more of, getting range of motion, mobility kind of stuff? What was it that you guys were dealing, or what you were dealing with in physical therapy off of the ice?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. And yeah, it was a little bit of everything. I mean, we got there, and the guy that I had, his name is Brian. He worked with the New York Islanders for a little bit there. He was a therapist. So he took really good care of me. I mean, we were doing a lot of stuff on the treadmill. He even said, I mean, getting your heart rate up as a hockey player is kind of a task for him because we're so well conditioned and stuff like that. But yeah, he had me on the treadmill doing stuff like that, a lot of like coordination and stuff like that. So no, they took really good care of me and stuff, and I'm thankful for all the medical staff we have here.
Yeah, we have a great team over at UHS here in the athletic training. Elise Wilbur does a great job behind the bench as the athletic trainer. And obviously it speaks to how well they are to get you back in the time frame that they did, really only missing a month and a half from where we were just before Halloween. From my personal standpoint, I think is remarkable. It was really great to see you out on the ice earlier in the week in the non-contact jersey, and then I did notice one day it was like, oh wait, hey, he's not wearing a yellow jersey anymore. He's skating with Jurich and Kirkby a little bit and going through the special teams, all that kind of stuff. It kind of just warmed my heart knowing that you were going to be back out there on the ice. You know how much important you are to the team. Also, one of the fan favorites, of course, being a returning player this season. We talked about it on the pregame interview, but we're just rehashing for anybody who didn't catch the broadcast, and probably because they were there at Teddy Bear Toss Night. But what's the hardest thing about being injured for a hockey player?
I mean, watching these guys have fun. It's watching these guys have fun. I mean, after a big win like that, I mean, you're always in the locker room being a part of it. I mean, but being on the ice and actually contributing to a win and coming back in and having a good time in the locker room, that's the best thing about hockey. So it's tough seeing these guys go out and have a big win and kind of not being a part of it. It's probably the toughest thing about being injured.
Now, you did travel with the team to go to Delaware on Friday night last weekend, and now do you think that was like your final rite of passage, was like going on another away trip with the team on the bus before you put the pads up one more time, or not put the pads up but put the pads on and get ready to take the ice on Saturday?
Yeah. I figured go on the trip there, get back to the trips, getting your body right for the trips and stuff like that. So just get my mind right and ready for a road trip.
All right, and now Black Bears facing off with Watertown in Delaware this upcoming weekend. What's going to be the biggest thing that you guys are trying to improve going into this one home game and one road game here this weekend?
Really lock down our systems. I think we've been a little sloppy on our systems here, so I think we got a lot of experienced guys who know what we're doing, so I think we're going to work on our systems this week and really lock it down.
Do you think having so many returning players from last year, even though it's a different coaching staff, really helps with you guys gelling into that system and knowing the way that you guys want to play?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It helps a lot. I think we only have a handful of guys that this is their first year playing pro. So, I mean, a lot of guys, they have pro games, they have a lot of knowledge, they know what goes into winning. So I think we have the right group here.
All right. Well, Gavin, thank you for spending some time with us out on Tuesday night. We appreciate it. Who knows? You might be the first ever third-time guest on the Coaches Show a little bit later on in the season. That's the voice of Black Bears forward Gavin Yates. We'll come back, wrap up the show with Coach Gary Gill after these messages. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach Show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
It is not too late to get season tickets for this season. Prorated season tickets are on sale now, along with single game tickets and group tickets. Call the front office for more details or visit binghamtonblackbears.com.
Fans, don't forget that the next Tully's Good Times with Coach Show will be on January 3rd at the Tully's on the Vestal Parkway location. Make sure to come out and join myself, Coach Gill, and the entire Black Bear squad and have a good time with us at Tully's. This Friday night at 7 p.m., the Binghamton Black Bears are celebrating summer in December against the Watertown Wolves. Come dressed in your best beach attire and watch the team crank up the heat on the ice. Call 607-722-7367 or binghamtonblackbears.com to reserve your tickets now.
Welcome back to the Coach.
You want to bring it back? No. Okay. Now. Oh. Well, welcome back into the final segment of tonight's Tully's Good Time with Coach Show. Before we send it off into the night, just a friendly reminder, this is our last show for the 2022 calendar year. The next one will be January 3rd, just 2 days after we turn the calendar to 2023. We'll be at the same time, the same Tully's location right here on the Vestal Parkway. And Coach Gill, just your final thoughts as we get ready for a home game on Friday night against Watertown, and then we pack up and hit the road early on Saturday morning to head to Delaware.
I'm excited for the weekend. I'm excited to bring the hockey, continue to do what we're doing in front of our fans. We have the greatest fans in the whole entire league and probably in the country, in my opinion. But we want to do a good show for them, and we want to get 6 points this weekend and continue our climb to first.
Black Bears do want to continue on into first place. They are only behind the Danbury Hat-Tricks by 1 point. They will have the opportunity this weekend to jump into the top spot in the division. And as Coach said, we want to thank all the fans who have been coming out to the games inside Vision Veterans Memorial Arena. Right now, the Black Bears currently lead the FPHL in attendance, in total number, and also in average per game. So if you've been a part of that, we want to thank you. And if you haven't yet, what's going on? We got plenty of opportunities left here the rest of the season. The next home game will be Friday for Summer in December. That is December 16th at 7 p.m. For head coach Gary Gill, setup Bobby Gross, tear down Joya DeMola, Alex Jones on the supervising, and always Josh Williams on the ones and twos. I'm Brooks Hill from Tully's. Have a good night, everybody. We will talk to you again on Friday night at 7 p.m. for Black Bears versus Wolves on Friday inside the arena. Have a good one, everybody.